It's Monday, that means Social Club is back. I'm back as well.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back.
Been to Kenyan, welcome back.
Lovely, all that stuff. It's back down south. Just quick bit of admin first. Social Club, every single week is in association with the charity called Calm. If you want to find out more about that, we're going to put a link in the description. So go and check that out if you need to talk to anyone. There's a helpline that you can do so. But it's Ask the Club time, so we're going to answer your questions right now. If you want to ask questions, you can do that on Twitter every single Monday. Just follow us at Ball Street and ask your question, and we might answer it on Social Club. Sam from United People's TV is here. Flav from Ball Street and the Fighting Cock is here as well. Like, they don't even know you, but they do.
Of course they do.
I think they do by now.
Well, I know they do.
Be a bit weird if it is.
Because all the messages.
Yeah.
Hate.
Flav out.
Flav out. Flav.
Would you consider
why are you so? Why are you
minor
so?
celebrity?
No. Well, you got people that say, Flav, why are you so bad at sex? That's a current.
Someone say that?
Yeah, on News at 10 recently. That why
are you though?
I consider myself quite proficient in the activity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I'm...
The supermoon last night, wasn't it?
Yes.
What? You're going to have to explain that now.
Last night there was a supermoon in the sky. A supermoon's like when the moon's massive and it does something to women, and then and it makes you kind of, up for it, and I took full advantage. Yeah. And there was the other person was, complicit.
Yeah,
good. Clarify that.
Right, Ask the Club, as you said. Let's kick off with the war of words, bitter war of words, Flav and Sam, between Sam Allardyce and Marco Silva.
I thought you meant the north and the south for a second.
Oh, good, because that's,
because
we did
they want it. I'm going up there next Monday and I'm going to punch every one of them in the throat.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, every one.
Can you wear a GoPro?
Yeah.
Just so people can see it live. What a weird start to a show this is. Just actually, finally, before we actually talk about football, next Monday is the Champions League draw, and you, Flav, and Rory's going up as well. So Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs, Man United, all covered. You're not going, are you?
No, I'm not.
Not invited.
A better United person.
Just one that has a more northern accent than you.
Yeah. So it works. Right, let's talk about Marco Silva and Sam Allardyce. Sam Allardyce is obviously the Everton manager now, getting off to a great start. You'll be delighted, Flav, as his agent, able to get him that job.
So you get like a 5% winning fee every time he gets 3 points.
I've got no time for him, but he delivers.
Bad side of that is when there's a new manager that needs to be put forward for a job, you're going to have to find someone else to put forward. But Sam Allardyce has essentially said that he got a bit annoyed when it was suggested that he was the second choice for the Everton job.
He was.
And he was saying that Marco Silva, his record cannot be compared to Allardyce's managerial record because he got Hull City relegated.
Right.
Silva's come back and said that this makes no sense what you're saying. You can't compare the two. He's 40 years old. Allardyce is 63 years old. So he's trying to kind of dampen it down a little bit. We're not doing that. We're going to open up that can.
No. I don't. If you read him full, he's actually saying, what was you doing when you were 40? That's what you.
Do you think is that what? Do you think?
Yeah, it was an embracing rebuttal of the comments. Yeah, for sure.
Well, so he says in 7 years of management. Oh, sorry. It's the same thing if I compare his work with a national team like Gareth Southgate, because he only got one game. Allardyce did. Southgate has obviously had a few more. It's like me comparing the 5 goals Richarlison has scored in the Premier League with Peter Crouch, who scored 207 in his club career.
Yeah.
Crouch is nearly 37. Richarlison is 20. So yeah, he's saying that you can't compare the two, but that's not going to stop us from doing it. So the question is, who is the better manager, and who would you rather have as your manager, Sam Allardyce or Marco Silva? Let us know in the comments.
It completely depends on the situation that your club is in. I think on paper, for me...
Who's the better manager?
Marco Silva's the better manager.
Why?
I mean...
If you're looking forward thinking, I would much rather have Marco Silva in charge of young players at my club who are exciting and moving forward, like Richarlison at Watford. He looked very good when United played Watford. And I think the way that Watford are playing football under Marco Silva is something that would never ever happen under Sam Allardyce. But Sam Allardyce has a style of play which works, and it's exactly why he's been brought into Everton. But let's get one thing very clear. Sam Allardyce was completely second choice. If Marco Silva had said yes, he would not be the manager of Everton right now, would he?
No, he wouldn't have been. It would be Marco Silva. But I mean, the question is, who's the better manager? You can't argue with Sam Allardyce being the better manager because, as he said, he's done more. He's done he is as reliable as you can get of a manager. Everton have made the right choice, I think, in the short term in getting Allardyce in. For sure, I think he's the better manager because Silva hasn't had time to prove himself. So that's not his fault, and that's not to say, it's just there's no way we can know that he is a better manager. The likelihood is what Sam says, is you think, if I had to choose one or the other, and I'm thinking about my long-term future, you've got to risk it and go with Silva.
Well, again, the ways you could look at this is, one, trophies. So Silva has won the Portuguese Cup, which is a major trophy, obviously, in Portugal. He's won the Greek title with Olympiacos. Allardyce has failed to win a major trophy in 27 years as a manager.
Yeah.
But then you've got the longevity of Sam Allardyce, how well he's done. He's managed, as everyone knows, so many different Premier League clubs and always improved their situation. So it is a really tricky one. I think I would go with a safer pair of hands, and I would go Allardyce, because the bottom line is he's been there and done it, and he's not finished yet. And he's been able to adapt as the game has moved forward.
In Everton's situation, Allardyce was the right decision. He was, I think, because they had a very, very real risk. In Ped's own words, had a very, very real risk of going down. And he's going to come in, he's going to sort them out. They got the win at the weekend, and Everton are going to be fine now. They're now somehow 10th in the league or something. There's no issue with Everton not finishing. They'll probably finish 7th or 8th. I think it's going to be an interesting battle between who of these two clubs finish above each other.
They don't play each other till 24th of February, which is a bit of a shame. So you'd quite like to see them kind of battle out in that moment in time.
You genuinely choose Sam Allardyce?
I think...
What context are we talking about here? In the context of Everton, or in the context of your team?
I think he's been around longer. He's been around longer. That's a huge thing for me. Out of these two, if you're going to say which one's a better manager, I'd have to go with Allardyce. Not because the football's better, because it's not. I think everyone knows that. But in terms of taking care of a football club, managing a football club and the players that you've got, and taking a club forward, he's done it more times than Silva, and that's why he is a better manager.
But if you look at Silva's career, it's just been a very, very upward trajectory.
Like David Moyes.
And the potential for Silva is far, far greater than the potential for Allardyce, and it's about how much you gamble. But again, Everton in the current circumstances,
they're happy with
Allardyce was the man.
Okay, let's move on. Ruzi12345 says, what has happened to Spurs? Flav. How long have you got? So I went on honeymoon, and it was like, Arsenal, Spurs are definitely going to win this one. North London, happy days. I've never been more confident in my life. It was happy days. You're going to, I don't know, I don't want to say this isn't fair, but I think we're going to pump them. I'm very confident.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you were very confident, and you absolutely.
I also said that.
Man,
I also said, if you're going to dig me out, right, I'm going to defend myself a little bit. I also said in the One for the Weekend podcast, see it every Thursday on the Bullshit Channel.
Cracking podcast.
I said it when Deludi Guna was in, that I'm fearful of this game going into it. I did say that.
You did.
It's all on there. You can see it. So don't give me that bollocks. Right. So second, what's happened at Spurs? Not a lot, really. We lost. We were convincingly beaten by Arsenal. That was a horror show. We then went away to Dortmund and beat Dortmund in Dortmund, so that can't really be sniffed at. Then we played West Brom. They scored early from a very, very dodgy goal, big mistake. And then we had to spend the rest of the 89 minutes playing, or 85 minutes playing against this just immovable object of West Brom. We had chances, the ball just didn't go in. We played well. And against Watford, a very good Watford team, even with 10 men, I thought we were a better team. So look, that's the way I'm...
It feels like excuses.
Well, I mean, what do you want me to say? It's all falling apart.
It is falling apart.
You've got 2 points.
The milk's turned sour, mate. It's time to go. Yeah. And he hasn't even got any trophies to kind of back himself up.
I'll tell you one thing that will probably upset you to say, but I'm going to quite enjoy it, is that Spurs are now closer Spurs are now closer to the bottom of the Premier League than you are at the top of the Premier League.
That's a good start.
Because Man City have won every single game bar one this season. That's why that.
That's another
good one, Sam.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, well done. That was a good comment.
Any more? What I'm actually enjoying, it just shows what a massive football club Spurs have become and how much we've got under people's skin. Is because people are really enjoying this, and for me that gives me an erection. So you're proper concerned about
Supermoon's still continuing through.
Worries, yeah.
4-hour effect.
Whilst we talk about Spurs, there's a story that's come out from Clattenburg talking about the Spurs-Chelsea game 2 seasons ago, when Chelsea got that draw and Spurs went a bit crazy, didn't they, trying to kick everyone.
Yeah.
And he's come out and said that he he didn't want to take the blame for Spurs' title challenge ending. So instead of sending off people that he could have,
fireworks in that game as well.
Fireworks in that game for sure. He just booked a few because people will remember with that game how incredible it was that there wasn't anyone sent off.
I think ultimately this is about Clattenburg and his ego. He never needed to say any of this stuff. The guy's an egomaniac. He's out in China. He's probably a bit bored, missing the limelight, and to come out with this nonsense. Firstly, from our perspective as a Spurs fan, I don't really have any issue with it because it would have been far more damaging to lose three players.
Do you appreciate it?
To send it. I appreciate it looking back at that game because even though we lost, drew rather, and threw away the title, I still have a lot of pride in the fact that we went in and like double-footed blood and thunder against a team that we hate. Right, so I look back at that and with kind of fond memory, really. Lots of complaining and whinging from Chelsea, and that's a good sight for me. But in terms of from a fair game, you don't want a referee coming in with an agenda or have an agenda any minute and going that I don't want this to be about me. He should have sent off 3 Spurs players there. Spurs should have been without those players for the next 3 games of the season, and who knows what impact that could have had on other teams with us not having those players. As it turned out, we lost those games in any case, but this is all about Clattenburg being a penis, and essentially,
Right, penis and erections.
And it was a full moon that night, apparently. A super moon.
From a wider point of view, from a neutral point of view, how does it make you feel to know that a referee's blatantly come out, literally, and said, I adapted my decisions because of the wider context instead of the moments themselves?
I think that's the issue, and that's what people are kind of pissed off about, is the fact that he's just come out and said, you know what, I know the rules are right there, but I just basically chose to ignore them because I didn't want everybody pointing the finger at me saying you're the reason that Spurs had lost this title. He goes, I wanted to, I'm not sure he used the word enjoy, but he's basically saying, look, you be the architects of your own downfall. I'm not doing that by sending you off, even though I should. And I think that's the issue that people are having with this, is that sometimes they say that referees just take decisions into their own mind and just ignore the rule, and that's exactly what Clattenburg has blatantly admitted. The issue is that those were in the modern game, those were sending off, particularly 2 of Dyer's. He should have gone for both of those. But actually, if you look back, it was a much more exciting game. It was a fascinating game for neutrals. It was way more interesting than the vast majority of Premier League games you watch. So perhaps we should regress and roll back some of the kind of strict refereeing that we've seen in the past, and allow some of these more physical challenges to get through, because ultimately you end up with a higher tempered game, but which is massively entertaining and isn't football. Football isn't all about winning. It's about having an entertainment sport and something that you go there and actually, I remember the Battle of the Bridge. I remember when Leeds and Chelsea played each other in the 1970 FA Cup final, because it was horrendous, but it's entertaining.
True. And I guess it's the weird thing where we often go with referees, just show a bit of common sense here or there, and essentially that's what he's done here.
Yeah.
And so then, but then when you say it out loud, you kind of go, oh, hang on, you're not being fair. So
no, I don't know if common sense is the right thing. He should have sent people off. There were some horrible tackles in that. I'm just saying it was entertaining, and maybe we need to look at regressing, because you get people sent off for next to nothing now. I sound like Paul Merson, don't I?
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
And we're going to talk about Paul Pogba and if he should have been sent off in one of the other social clubs. Get your questions in. I'm going to read out a couple right at the end of the video. Before that, Scott Raven, at Scott Raven 69. Who do you think Arsenal need to bring in to win a title, manager or players? The broader question from that is, one, let's talk about Arsenal, but then secondly, what about your club, Spurs and Man United? Who do you need to win the title? Because Man City obviously flying.
So we speak about Arsenal.
Let's talk Arsenal first.
Arsenal first.
What do you think they need?
I personally don't think. Tony Adams actually came out and said at the weekend that Arsenal will not win a Premier League title again under Arsene Wenger, and I think that is the case. But they are if Arsene Wenger is going to be leaving and it's going to be new players coming in, I think Arsenal are light years away from being able to win the Premier League title, and that's my own opinion on it.
I don't agree at all. I think Arsenal are very close to be able to win the Premier League. I think they're with a little bit more injection of quality in the side and the correct manager, I think they're there next season.
Okay. That's the other social club we're going to do today in one of our videos. Were Arsenal ever in the title race? So we're going to dive into a bit more detail. In terms of your own clubs, just quickly, who do Spurs need in January? Or if you could get someone in January, who do United need?
with our current injuries and sending offs and suspensions, we need an entire back line currently.
Really?
We have a brilliant back three of Vertonghen, Alderweireld and Sanchez. Sanchez out for 3 games out of it. So yeah, we need a couple of centre backs.
You wouldn't have thought that, would you? You wouldn't have thought that at the start of the season. It shows how it changes.
It's just that we've got Dembele, who isn't necessarily. He's not anywhere near real match fitness, and he is a brilliant player, but I don't know if he's ever going to get back there. And Wanyama, who's played 2 games this season, he played every game last year. So we've had Harry Winks come through. As good as he is, he isn't quite ready to play 90 minutes of every game. So it's been tricky.
Okay.
So
United in the need.
We've struggled without Pogba massively this year. He's been suspended. He was injured for about 6-7 game weeks. Now he's going to miss another 3 game weeks. And we are a completely different team with and without him. So having a genuine backup to Pogba would be the ideal situation. And Herrera should be playing better than he is, but he's not. And Marouane Fellaini is probably going to be the man that comes in to start against Manchester City at the weekend. He's not going to stop De Bruyne, is he?
Okay. Last question. So get your questions in right now. Do it right now. I'm going to be looking as I ask this final question to the guys. Carl Parr at Mr. Carl Parr. If Manchester United lose on Sunday, is the title race over? Dum dum dum. Get your questions in.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's December. No, not at all. But it's going to be. It's not an insurmountable.
Hard though,
it's basically United have got to be the team that stops this City momentum. Because on Sunday, if they win, they set a new Premier League record for 15 wins on the bounce.
That's crazy.
And they do that at Old Trafford. You've got to just try and stop it. And I don't know. I know exactly what Jose Mourinho is going to try and do. But we've seen against Watford and Arsenal that United can play well on the counter-attack and can do it in style. 7 goals in 2 games, 2 really tough away games. So United fans will go in with a little bit of confidence, but not having Pogba. That's a real sucker punch.
Okay. 2 questions then, really quickly. Sean, 12105. Are any of Burnley's defenders good enough to play for a top 4 side? I know Tarkowski quite well from watching him at Brentford, and he was, I know it's Championship, but he wasn't just a kind of a stopper. He's really, really good on the ball, and I think he'll be the next one to maybe move forward. Ben Mee is a decent centre-back, but not sure he's as good on the ball as Tarkowski. I just don't think Tarkowski has had the opportunity to do it.
Do you think he's better or worse than Michael Keane was when he was at Burnley?
I think Michael Keane's got a lot more pedigree than Tarkowski. Tarkowski came from Oldham, if I'm right in saying that, and he's sort of gone to Brentford. So being at Man United to start with Michael Keane is obviously a great starting point. You've seen that with a lot of players who've left Man United and then gone on to do good stuff and get back in, say, the England squad or whatever. Tarkowski's maybe not that pedigree because he's starting off at that point. You would imagine that if someone's that good that they would have got picked up by someone else before that. But I really do rate him. I know a lot of Brentford fans did as well. So I can see him moving forward. And where's the last question I had here? Sebastian, would you swap Mkhitaryan for Ozil, Sam?
I've already gone on record making it abundantly clear
This is your problem. Carry on.
I didn't want to take Ozil.
Why is it his problem, Sam?
So him and Rory actually as well, they make definitive statements without thinking through or even having...
No, I thought about it first, that's the problem.
Or having a simple grasp of the fact that football changes so quickly. And you said something along the lines of, and I think I'm actually saying this verbatim, Ozil, we should never sign Mesut Ozil.
Yeah.
Something along those lines, right?
It was pretty much along those lines.
So the answer to the question is?
Absolutely not. Because I've already made my bed and now I'm sleeping in it. But no, Ozil is coming back into form, clearly. But no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. No, come on.
Right, okay.
You back me
This
into the corner
is
here,
why fans don't make good football managers.
Well, that was another comment. Is that Sam for the Barca job? If there's management there.
I'd love that. I'd love him getting wound up in some sort of post-match press conference and just going, he will never play for this football club ever again.
Right,
Messi, he's wound me up, he's never playing again.
Out the door,
Yeah.
get Fellaini in. Right, let us know your thoughts on Silva or Allardyce or any of the other questions that we've spoken about on Ask the Club. Check out the other 2 Social Club videos that are going to be dropping this afternoon. Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Flav. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, let us know your thoughts, and we'll see you in the next video.